Hello and welcome to the Playing with Power podcast. Live tonight is me, Mr. Dude 206, featuring Michael B. the Game Genie. How you doing?
I am super fantastic.
And Weekend Game Guy Chris. How you doing? How's your pants?
I may or may not be wearing them.
Point your camera down.
Okay, hold on. No, I'll never be able to get it right again. It took hours to get right. Okay.
Yes, we had to. It's pretty meticulous the way we set up these cameras. So, anyways,
strapped on with rubber bands. So.
And. Oh, gee.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
If you started a Patreon, you could avoid the rubber bands.
Yeah, you could have. So, one sec. Sorry, technical difficulties. Anyways, topics tonight would be brought to you by, really organized here, by Matt Hanola. And he wants to know what consoles were the winners in their respective generations. So I guess we can start with the third generation, which is the NES, Sega Master System, or the Atari 7800. What are your guys' inputs?
Well, just to clarify, because I don't really understand the question, so are we asking what won the console war to us, or what won the console war based on fact?
I guess we can do a mixture of both. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, whatever. We can just discuss information, and that works for me. So.
Okay, so the Atari 7800 won.
Because it was a monolith of a system, let me tell you.
Well, you could say it had the largest library, too.
It did, because you could lump in the 2600 library in there with it, so it certainly did have the largest library.
Well, if we're going by North American standards, I think this is pretty clear to everybody that the NES was the dominant champion of that genre. But the thing is, over in Europe, not everybody had an NES. SMS was massive over there, and we don't think about that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was what I was going to mention, is that that's a very regional
question
thing. Yeah, it really is, because like you said, the Master System. Wasn't the Master System pretty popular in Canada too, Mike? Wasn't it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Remotely. The only people that had Master Systems here in Newfoundland, it's funny, were out in some of the smaller communities that weren't near the capital city, and they didn't necessarily have access to a store with NESs. So for some reason, like all the Radio Shacks and like secondary stores, they had Master Systems, so kids would ask for a NES for Christmas, no chance of their parents getting it, and they ended up getting a Master System.
You know, I wish I was in that generation where I could actually be what's that word I'm looking for? Old enough to go purchase one, because I don't remember the Sega Master System or Nintendo being in retail stores, at least when I went going shopping. I don't remember any early memory. The earliest memory I remember is just Super Nintendo type stuff. How about you guys? You guys remember purchasing or being able to see an Atari for purchase?
Yeah, both. I think I'm a little older than you guys. Actually, I'm going on 35 in October, so yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah, Grandpa. I'll be 33 in in May.
You're gonna have to speak up, Chris. My hearing ain't what it used to be.
Turn up the mic.
Yeah. I remember seeing I don't remember seeing I don't remember seeing them in the store, but I remember the 2600 coming to my house. I remember my parents bringing it home. So, but I think I got it from a cousin. I think a cousin gave it to me, so we got it like second, third hand or something crazy like that. But yeah.
I actually do remember seeing Atari 2600 and 7800 games in store. We had this place called Consumers Distributing, which was actually amazing because it wasn't like your normal department store. It was basically a warehouse. So you went in, they had their big wish book, and you basically just put in your catalog number and you could pull everything out. I don't remember actually seeing them in retail stores, just in that Consumers Distributing.
Kind of cool, actually. Because I don't remember. I don't remember seeing any games anywhere ever for any Atari systems. So,
oddly enough, I remember the Odyssey. There was some Odyssey stuff. Was that the same generation as the Atari?
No, that was
like second
well
or
before
third generation.
Hey.
First generation.
My history drops like right before the Sega Master System. Anything before that, I have no clue.
What are you, like Doctor Who, in and out of time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I travel back in time, depending on how many beers I drink and how many shots I take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I told you guys this before. Sometimes if I'm drunk and I get in a cab and the cab says "Where to," I say November 5th, 1985.
And he takes you there.
And then at the end of the ride, when he says, "You'll have to pay me," I'll say, "I don't have any money, but what I do have is a particular set of skills." Cab drivers love me.
I bet. I bet.
Drunken shenanigans.
Yeah, really. So yeah, I think the clear winner would have to be to be
Speaking
serious.
of North America.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in North America overall would have to be the Nintendo Entertainment System,
Yeah.
because I vividly remember that in the store. I vividly remember, I didn't even know the Sega Master System existed until like in my 20s, probably.
Well, there's a big reason why the Nintendo Entertainment System won over here, and I think we all know that because Nintendo practiced very illegal and monopolistic business practices to make sure that the Nintendo was the only system available in most stores.
Hmm.
What
How's that?
practices were those? Yeah.
Well, they would go to a large distributor. I don't know if you guys had Walmart back then. We didn't. We had a store called Woolco, but they would say to Woolco, okay, you can carry the NES, but if you carry the Master System or anything else, we'll pull it out of your store. You can't sell it anymore.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
bullshit.
I remember that. I feel like we've talked about that before.
We talked about the distributor side, that like basically Nintendo told Capcom, if you release Mega Man on the Master System, we'll stop letting you make games for our system.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the actual store aspect.
Times were tough back then. It was business.
Yeah.
It's one of the big reasons TurboGrafx 16 was only available at Radio Shack.
Yeah. Well, speaking of TurboGrafx, we can move on to the next one between TurboGrafx 16, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and the Neo Geo.
See, I think this question is also a little bit unfair because really the TurboGrafx 16 and the Genesis came out before the SNES, so really the original battle was between the Turbo and the Genesis, and the Genesis was the clear winner, which kills me to say. The SNES came out, like, I think it was 2 years after the Genesis,
Yeah.
and then when that came out, it was just no, like, there was still a competition, but I mean, there was no competition here. I mean, everybody grabbed a Super Nintendo. People who had the Genesis were the ones with the inferior system, or they were the
right.
no. Let me finish. But
Okay.
like, it looked like most of the games were inferior, and they couldn't get a lot of the games that we were playing, like Zelda and all that first-party titles, Mega Man X, all that gear. But the people who had Genesis, that was the ones that said, we're more mature, we're into sports games and the more mature arcade games. We're not into the kiddie games of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a moment, didn't Sega actually have a good chunk of the market, or a significant chunk of the market, because of that very reason? They marketed it directly toward older kids, directly toward they tried to hook those kids, and it worked for a while. It really did. But
yeah, I always saw it differently. I saw Sega getting the head start, and then Nintendo hitting the market, and then Sega's market share that they had was based on them getting that head start and the aggressive marketing campaign they had. I think if both the consoles released at the same time, I don't know if Sega would have got as much ground.
Right.
Well, Sega did a good move too with trying to acquire like ports of arcade games too, but also, and Super Nintendo had not. I don't know, which would you guys say would have more, Super Nintendo or Genesis for arcade ports?
Oh, Sega Genesis, including Sega's own arcade ports.
Yeah. And see, and then I was going to say some of the. Well, I mean, the most noted is the Mortal Kombat port, and that was the one everyone preferred just because of the blood code. And I think that was one thing that shot Nintendo in the foot across the board sometimes, that I think slowed them down, was their what was it, the standards and practices or whatever the thing was, where they wouldn't allow blood and wouldn't allow religious symbols and wouldn't. Don't you feel like that kind of
also? But another thing that didn't help Sega that much is because they started out with the 3-button controller versus the four
that's
buttons and the two triggers. You know, then they re-released the 6 button, so that kind of helped things out.
But by
So
that
it
point,
was,
the damage was done. You know, everybody was playing Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo.
yeah, and that was pretty dumb where you had to push start to do all the kicks and start to do all the punches. You know, but for the TurboGrafx, it's like Mike said, it's very scarce to where you can purchase it. So I don't know, it's a very select few and even lesser few for the people that did the Neo Geo. And the price of the Neo Geo didn't really help at all either. I remember back in the day that a buddy, he collected Neo Geo AES cards, and I was like, what the hell is that, a freaking book? You know, the thing was huge. And he said, yeah, I got this one game. It was like $800. I'm like, you're crazy. You know?
Yeah. Well, the games were as much as a system of the other teams, you know, other teams. Genesis, Super Nintendo, for the price of the system, you could buy a single game for your AES. But they always said that was their intention, was to market it toward the more wealthy bunch, but I feel like that's kind of screwed up, don't you? I mean,
yeah.
It really worked out well, didn't it?
It's a marketing strategy known as prestige pricing. So you come in well above the market share to create an era of snobbishness around your purchase. That's the best way I can say it. Prestige pricing.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
Restaurants do it all the time. Like, this restaurant will just open up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, this restaurant, everybody's talking about it. They're like, oh, I had the $130 steak. It's still the $10 steak from the grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, that's even what they do at department stores, where they say it's on sale, but the price is obviously marked up regardless. And then when they drop it down a couple dollars, that's the normal price, and they still profit off of it.
Oh, yeah. Remind me here at this point to bring up a little bit later Target closing here in Canada, because there's a really interesting story that relates exactly to that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I want to say that I do want to say that Genesis won for sales. Can I say that? Because there's a whole lot more Genesis crap out there than Super Nintendo.
No, it's just because no one wants it anymore.
Yeah, but popularity obviously will be Nintendo, though. So,
Nintendo's always going to win out on that, because I feel like Nintendo's always going to win out on the popularity. Even if everybody and his brother bought a Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo stuff is always going to end up being more popular in the end, because they have those really high quality first party titles that everyone wants, and that's years from now people will still be going back and playing the original Super Mario Brothers. I don't think anybody's going to go back and play Sonic the Hedgehog. Unfortunately, I think they're great games, but I'm gonna be honest, you know.
I'll say this too. If we're going to talk about this battle, you put almost any game that was cross-platform against each other, and it'll be very hard to find a Genesis winner. I'm not a Nintendo fanboy saying this. No. I'm just being honest.
You're right.
You compare Super Nintendo's Mortal Kombat 2
that's
to
exactly
Genesis Mortal Kombat 2. It is awful.
Yeah.
What about Aladdin's Genesis versus Aladdin on Super Nintendo?
That's a little bit different, because that's a different game. Same name, different game.
It's Aladdin.
No, it's a different game.
It's two completely different games.
Oh, that you're trying to say the same exact game with the same exact game.
That's right.
Yeah. What else is there?
Batman Forever.
Batman.
Yeah.
No. Here's the thing, and to be honest, like, you look at Turtles in Time and a game like Battletoads and Battle Maniacs.
Yeah.
They actually couldn't make a Genesis version of Turtles in Time. They did, but it had to be a dumbed-down version, which was Hyperstone Heist. Same with Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. They couldn't make that, but they released a port of the original Battletoads.
Yeah.
So Super Nintendo for that one?
Yeah. Sweeping the board.
No. I mean, in the first category, like, I love the SMS, and there's certain things the SMS can do better than the Nintendo Entertainment System, but Nintendo was a clear winner. You go down to the next generation, Nintendo wins, but it's close. It's really like 60-40.
Let's see. We got a quick comment from Kit. He said, RoboCop versus Terminator was better on the Genesis, for example. There are quite a lot, actually, Mike.
Yeah, but Kit171 also told me that he likes Mortal Kombat 2 better on the Genesis.
Ooh.
I prefer it on the Genesis too, but that's just because I prefer the 6-button controller on the Genesis over the the pad.
I,
I was never a fan of the shoulder buttons.
and if I can go back, and to be fair to Mike, I never played RoboCop versus the Terminator on the Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I have the Super Nintendo version, but I've never played the Genesis version.
Ed said you have a ghost in your house, Mike. You're-
Yeah, my wife tells me that too, Ed. So thank you to you and Lara for completely creeping me out.
It's behind you.
Yeah, I got ghosts, shadow men, everything.
It's awesome. So, okay, we'll move on to the next one. It's between the Jaguar, the 3DO, the PCFX, 32X, Saturn, PS1, and N64. Darn, that's a lot of consoles.
Yeah,
So
but
I guess
it's an easy answer.
Yeah, it really isn't. I threw all those on that list, whatever, because it was as a joke.
is
Because
that
it's clearly the 32X.
no? It's the PS1.
Yeah.
It is the PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say around this time when the PS1 came out, that's when I was actually coherent to knowing what games are and whatever. So that's where it pretty much stuck. Super Nintendo, I had to toss to the side because PS1, obviously came up. So that's where I was at. I did have a N64, but I didn't. I only had the key games. So I'm kind of fanboy towards Sony. Just saying.
At the same time, man, I look back at my collection, my childhood collection. I still had like 25, 26 N64 games by the end of it.
Oh wow,
Interesting.
that's a lot.
I was a huge Sega fanboy coming out of the Genesis, because 16-bit era I was Sega Genesis, and that's really, honestly, to be entirely honest, the biggest reason was because everybody in my neighborhood had a Genesis, so why not get the same console so we can swap each other's games out? I know, Mike, you're not into borrowing games from people, but there you go. That's why we did it. That's probably the biggest reason we did it. But so I wanted a Saturn, Sega Saturn.
I wanted a Saturn, Sega Saturn.
Yeah. I wanted a Saturn pretty bad, but by the time I had to buy the console myself. So by the time I saved up enough money to buy the Saturns were all gone. So I went PS1, and I never regretted my decision.
Yeah, the PS1 originally was just as expensive as the Saturn and the 3DO, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
$200-300 was it?
That's pretty pricey.
Well, here in Canada, they were like $600 because at the time our dollar was
Damn.
much lower. Yeah.
Holy crap!
And I did know people that bought Saturns, and you know what? They regretted it immensely because none of the stores rented the games. There was very few games for sale, so they were stuck with what's a good system, but was a lemon because they couldn't get any games for it.
I don't know. I love the Saturn. I played it. The Virtual Cop and the Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many hours of Daytona. But initially, I bought the Genesis, but I made a video of it prior. Is that my mom bought me a Genesis. I brought it home, hooked it up, played Sonic for literally like maybe 5 minutes, and tried to plug in Player 2. And then I bent one of the pins, and then my mom had to take it back and never got it back. She just never got me a system back. So then, yeah, I felt bad about the Genesis. Didn't get it back, so I don't know. Sucky story. What can you do? So.
Yeah. So, well, PS1 all the way. Number 2 would probably be the Jaguar. So. I'm just kidding. That controller was fantastic.
Like,
Have you ever...
the Jaguar, like, what was its killer app?
It didn't have one.
Yeah, it did. It had one game that's fantastic, Tempest 2000.
Oh, that was, yeah. The soundtrack on that was exceptionally good.
Yeah.
Didn't it come with a CD of it too, right? Of the soundtrack?
Yeah, and it's also got an Alien versus Predator game that's really good as well, but it's not worth owning the system for.
No, I had one. It was probably the biggest waste of money I ever. I was glad when I sold it. I was thrilled that I did.
I'm still edging towards getting one, but it's got to fit a certain criteria. Like I've got to have it boxed. I got to have all my systems boxed, and I always
go
decided,
big or go home.
Yeah,
right.
I always convince myself not to get it because I'm never gonna find a single game here. You're never gonna see one. I mean, I can't find Saturn games. I can't find Sega CD. What's the odds I'm gonna find a Jaguar game?
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Well, Sega CD could have been in this lot too, right, Chris?
I guess technically, yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird mix because the 32X could also bleed into the 16-bit generation as well, even
And
though it's
and the
Yeah,
and,
it was a
and the
weird.
Apple Pippin was in this one too, right?
Yeah, I left a few out that I knew like we wouldn't even be need. Like the Effin Towns Marty would be in here too. Like there's no
Yeah,
point in talking about those.
yeah.
But
all right.
yeah.
I think here is the point where we're gonna get into a disagreement because I think me and Stu are gonna be on the same page, but Chris is gonna be in left field.
On the next one.
Yeah.
You might think I know what you think, but go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
All right, so for the 5th gen, what would you guys say? PS1?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Look, for the fifth gen, yeah, PS1. I was thinking.
Yes. How about you, Mike?
We said PS1 for 5th gen. We all agreed right from the start.
Okay, cool. So moving on to the 6th gen, we have the Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube, and the Xbox.
Okay, Mike.
No,
here's
Chris.
my answer. Here's
Yeah.
my answer. The clear winner. Look, there's a reason that GameStop is taking PS2s again.
There you go. Thank you.
I mean, I've got about 6 boxes full of PS2 games. I've got a single box full of Dreamcast games. I knew what you're thinking, but while I do love my Dreamcast, what?
Actually, I thought you were going to go the other way. I thought you were going to be Xbox.
Oh no, ooh no, no.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast it's the only system I ever pre-ordered and bought like day one. Only system I ever bought. I love that system, and I still do. But I mean, PS2. I mean, it's the number one selling system of all time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, PS2 for sure.
And also, they say that the hardware has some kind of like weird metal in it that's used for like warfare and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
No,
There's some weird. Yeah, look that stuff up.
I'm going to.
Yeah, if you find it, you can pretty much create any ultimate weapon from any RPG ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Adamantium.
The Atma weapon. Yeah.
The funny thing about this list is I owned every single system there, and 3 of them I got on launch. There's only one I never got on launch.
Xbox, you did not get on launch.
GameCube.
No, I did not get the Xbox on launch. Every single other one I got on launch day.
I got all of those but the GameCube.
Yeah, I didn't get a GameCube till much later.
I was thrilled with the GameCube. I brought my PS2 home and I liked it, but the PS2 games that came out, did you guys get a PS2 at launch?
No, I waited a couple of weeks because they were sold out.
The launch library was terrible. Like I remember
Bouncer and what else was there?
No. I don't even think the Bouncer was out at launch. I remember I bought hockey for myself, NHL 2001, I think it was. And
you like hockey?
Yeah, I really like hockey.
Is there like a law there or something?
I bought hockey for myself and a couple DVDs because it was my first DVD player. Also,
you're old.
No, it was my first too. That's what a lot of people did because it was the cheapest DVD player on the market.
That was a big seller.
That was only what, 10 years ago? How long? 20 years ago?
That's a long time, man. It's like that's 16 years ago now.
Ha.
Yeah, Ed must have been in college at that time, right, Ed?
He was married at that point.
I was actually in college at that point.
Where was I at? Probably
into
wars. Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not. I'm 32. I'm there.
You and I, we were probably what, junior in high school, something like that.
Anyways, going back to the launch library. The launch library, I got hockey, and then my brother, I bought him a game because we went in on it together because it was still $600, and I bought him. Yeah, it was an expensive day. I bought him Summoner, and those were the only 2 reasonable games to get on launch.
Ugh.
And it was months before anything good came out.
Yeah.
But when the GameCube came out, I bought that the first day, and I only bought one game, Luigi's Mansion. And I'm telling you right now, I had a blast with Luigi's Mansion. I used to have parties, and like 5 or 6 guys would come over, and we just sit there playing Luigi's Mansion for hours and being very drunk.
Yeah. I was probably 2 years into the system before I bought one. Once again, I had to buy it myself, and I bought one used, and it was so shady. I bought it at like Babbage's or whatever, and they went to the back and got a box and like cut it up to like put it in for me. Like they made a box in the store for me to take
But
it
they
home.
put it on marker PS2 on a marker.
Refurbished.
Basically, yeah, it was cool, and it was one of the fat ones, you know.
Yeah.
And I bought more DVDs than I did games at that point. I can't even remember what the first game I had. I remember the first DVD was Akira, and like I loaded up on DVDs, and that's pretty much almost all I used it for a long time. But now, you know, it's sitting in a box.
That was high tech back then. You know, DVD player and video game player, and that pushed the GameCube and the Dreamcast to the side at least, but the Xbox was still, you know, a good system. That's the one I bought. My brother bought it for me at launch. He paid $600 and then a couple hundred for Dead or Alive, and then Halo we played back then.
Weird, Stu. I wouldn't imagine you'd like Dead or Alive.
It's all about the titties.
The thing about the Xbox versus the PS2 on the DVD player, that's a weird emphasis there. The DVD player thing.
That dongle that you needed.
Yeah, that was the only way you could use the DVD player, which sucked.
Well,
so I wasn't interested.
That was Bill Gates right there. You see, he makes a big controller, then later on he makes a smaller one to sell you again. That's smart right there.
Yeah.
So it's just like the 3DS and the Nintendo right now. Let's make another 3DS. Let's make another 3DS.
It's what's making us money. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
My Xbox I got for free from a guy who he
realized he bought an Xbox?
Yeah. No, it just stopped working, and he's like, I don't know, it won't cut on, whatever. Take it home. I was like, well, I'm pretty handy with a soldering gun. Let me take a look at it. And it turns out like where the plug solders to the power supply inside the unit had just come unsoldered. I put about a nickel's worth of solder on there, and boom, free Xbox. So it was a good day.
Nice. Like MacGyver.
I will tell you, when I did get my Xbox later on, I got a 2-pack with the smaller controller, and then it came with Halo and Amped Snowboarding. I loved my Xbox. I rushed out. I bought Morrowind the next day, and man, I had a ton of fun with it. But still, I mean, it was for me the third system of that gen.
Yeah.
Morrowind killed all my life. It's so many hours in that stupid game.
Fable. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I failed organic chemistry in college because of Knights of the Old Republic. I just quit going to class. I was done. Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars.
Yeah.
One system I know, Chris, you mentioned, but we didn't really talk about DC. And it's a funny thing is, I don't really consider DC to be part of this generation.
Yeah.
It was the first one out, but for some reason it's just off to the side because it died so quickly.
Short lifespan.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was really good though. I loved it, but
oh, yeah.
what surprisingly really killed DC was the minute that the boot disc came out. I mean, anybody who had it,
the spinning reindeer. You guys remember this? Yeah. But PS2 backwards compatibility too with the PS1. That was
another winner. Yeah.
Yeah, because then everybody traded in their PS1s to help soften the blow.
Yeah, soften the $600 blow. That's crazy. And we're complaining about new gen stuff these days about 300 or 200. Darn.
Yeah, I talked.
But wait, cell phones cost like $900. So what's that about?
Do you guys in the States have to buy your cell phone? Like we just get ours with plans that we go into.
Must be nice, Mike.
You do? Okay, it
depends. It depends if you want to upgrade. If you don't, you can get a lower model.
And a lot of I used to work in the cell phone industry. I was a sales associate but they a lot of the carriers are moving toward device financing, so that they don't have to give you a free phone, even though it's not really technically free. You're paying for it because that's what the termination fee is. If you decide, I don't want to use your cell phone service, well, you got to pay us X amount of dollars. It's to cover the cost of the phone.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of negative things I'll say about Canada, but I mean, we've instituted new laws that you can only be locked into a contract for, I think it's like 2 years maximum, and it might even be a year. So that's really easy to deal with now.
Yeah.
Very easy to upgrade. Everybody has the iPhone 6S. We're all living on clouds here in Canada. Lando Calrissian. On the cool side of the pillow.
God. So PS2, will we agree? Okay.
Yeah.
PS2, 6th gen. Moving on to the 7th gen, we have the 360, the PS3, and the Wii.
Go ahead, Mike. You first.
There's a lot of people out there that will say that we had amazing sales numbers. There's a lot of people out there that love their Xbox 360, but for me, the clear winner was the PS3 again this generation. I had more fun on the PS3 than I had on anything else. I loved the first-party releases. Pretty much every game that came out on multiple systems, like if it came out for 360 and PS3, I always bought the PS3 version. I just thought it was a better system. And I still use my PS3 today. Probably more than my PS4. Well, Netflix, YouTube, YouPorn.
They've got that? Hold on.
Apparently
Yeah.
Well, I only had a 360 for like maybe a year, but that's back when I borrowed games from the internet and I patched the 360, so I guess I got burnt out on that. But I just didn't like the way that the 360 had normal disc versus Blu-ray for the PS3. I guess the quality I felt was a little bit better on the PS3. And as for the Wii, I got one later also to modify, but you know, for the games and all that, PS3 all the way for me. But there's a large library for the 360, and the Wii is just known for shovelware. So I don't know. There's probably a lot of 360 fanboys out there. So I'm not one of them.
Yeah, you brought up the DVD player versus the Blu-ray. But it's interesting
Betamax versus Betamax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else uses that. It's interesting because the 360, whenever they launched, they took a gamble and went the HD DVD player route. Remember that? You could get the extra unit and attach it to your thing. And
honestly, the 360 choice is what killed HD DVD. And it wasn't that it was a different format, because there was two formats, Blu-ray and HD DVD. If the Xbox 360 came just as it is, able to play HD DVD, maybe we'd be in a different territory. But the fact that you had to shell out like an extra $300 to get another device to plug into your 360, no one was doing that.
That's what killed the Genesis. I mean, extra devices to hook onto my crap to make it do stuff. It's just not good.
But it was the extra money too. I mean, for at the time when it came out, I don't know how much it was in the States, but the PlayStation 3 was like $5.99 here. So the Xbox 360 was around $4.99. Plus, then you had to shell out an extra $200 to $300 to get the HD DVD player. People were like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Give us your firstborn, please, and then we'll give you a 360.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
I still see those HD DVD players at Goodwills and stuff for like $14, and then on occasion I see those HD DVDs for sale as well. So. I wonder how the quality is versus Blu-ray. Do you guys?
I've never tried one.
I think it's 576p or something weird, like some weird scaling for. It's some weird. It's under 720p.
We're gonna do whatever we want.
It's some strange, doesn't even make sense kind of scaling.
If it's under 720p, how in God's name is it high definition?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't remember the. I just remember when I was first looking into. But I mean, this was whenever the systems first came into existence, and I was trying to figure out, which way do I want to go? Do I want to get a Blu-ray player? Do I want to get? And then someone explained to me, it's like, HD DVD is only half of what Blu-ray is. So.
Yeah.
Price wise.
No.
I think they were about the same though. No, I mean the quality was about half, but I think price-wise at the time they were pretty close.
There's probably a YouTube HD DVD collector group. And
that's it.
All those Laserdisc guys. 10 years time, you watch, they're going to be HD DVD collectors.
Hey! I've thought about getting into Laserdiscs.
Yes.
It's 720p, and it's only 720p. That was the difference. Was that it was only 720p, and Or 1080i. I think you would also do 1080i, but the Blu-ray could go up to 1080p. Plus, the Blu-ray disc was stronger.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
you could scratch it with a key and it still works. Which is
We have some comments. It says that Mike wants to taste Ed's mouth, and also that Ed loves Nintendo. And they also want to they also want to know if we're reading these comments. Yes, guys, we're reading these comments, but we're here blabbering about this topic about the PS3 and 360. So obviously, guys, PS3 winner.
Stu, who wrote that last comment?
That would be Mike the Stank Mask.
Yeah.
You're on my list, Mike.
Yeah. So far we got Ed here, Kid Shoryuken, Kit, and Mike. Did I say
Awesome.
Mike already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stank Mask. Yep.
So wave high. Wave high to the guys.
Hey, fellas.
Hello. If you're looking at sales numbers, yes, the Wii sold more units, I would assume. But the thing about it was, if you're like me, and I think most people were, you played your Wii for a couple months and you had fun, and then or you played the first party titles, and that was the only thing you ever played on it. And then your PS3, it's like Mike said, your PS3 was my workhorse. I used it pretty much. And I forgot how much I loved it. I had the 360 just for convenience sake. It was where I could get to it. We had it hooked up to watch Netflix in here.
The streaming of 360 was stupid though, because you needed a separate system or whatever. PS3 works way better because you can stream anything, your personal server, whatever your device is. And that's what I'm mad about the newer gen, because they're not as good as the PS3 does all that streaming stuff. But 360, yeah.
Well, at first you had to have the gold membership, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that was what, are you kidding me? I gotta do a monthly subscription to watch Netflix that I'm paying a monthly subscription for. I've got to pay both you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's go back just for a second. Like you mentioned that the Wii you would probably play for a little while. Like I got mine at launch, and I love Twilight Princess. I didn't play the GameCube version. I played the Wii version.
Yeah.
And what really hooked me on the Wii, because the Wii I probably used the second most after my PlayStation 3, was the Virtual Console. Like I got addicted to that. Like I probably spent $2,000 on Virtual Console games. Like I got a ton of stuff on that thing.
Fudge.
I know.
That's a lot of. You crazy.
But but they did it so much better back then too. Like you guys probably weren't into it as me, but I craved Monday to find out what the Virtual Console releases were going to be. Especially like I saw that they were adding TurboGrafx 16. Like I was so excited about that. So every Monday I'd try to figure out what games were coming out. So I played that thing a ton, but I probably played more Virtual Console than I ever did any of the actual Wii releases.
Yeah.
I was a pirate back then. I was burning and emulating and doing this and that and stuff.
Yeah.
But it really is cool that the Virtual Console did come out. But would you say that the Wii started a lot of that DLC and virtual content that we have nowadays? Because the PS3, I guess Live did it too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Xbox Live Arcade was up before the Virtual Console.
I'm just looking for a way to blame Nintendo for how things are now.
You're sour, man. You're sour.
Sour. Sorry.
We were talking about how much better the PS3 did the streaming stuff in general. It's funny because my PS3 does a better job connecting to my Windows Media Center server than my Microsoft-made Xbox 360. It won't even connect, but the PS3 connects instantly. No problems, no nothing. It's ridiculous.
Now, Stu, I know you didn't have much experience with it. Chris, I don't know if you're a big fan of RPGs, but there was a brief period where the Xbox 360 was pretty much home for RPGs in this generation. It was a time when Tales of Vesperia came out. Square was releasing a lot of exclusive titles just to the PS3. Like Star Ocean was originally only an Xbox 360 release. They released Infinite Undiscovery. So there was a time when Xbox 360 became a very important system to me.
Really?
Yeah, I'd agree. I played Tales of Vesperia. That was a good one. There's a lot of Square There's a lot of shooters for that too. There was a lot of good titles for the 360, but I totally fell off, so I can't really say this or that because I've been with Sony for whatever.
Yeah.
And I really hate to do it, but I got to. Everybody and his brother played, Call of Duty, played it on the 360. I mean, the majority of people that I knew all did it on 360. Now, that was people I knew, and I taught high school. So, like, every high school kid I knew was playing it on the 360. So,
I don't get that. Why would you play it on the 360? I'm going to play Call of Duty so I can then go pay a yearly fee so I can play Call of Duty on the 360 when it was free on the PlayStation.
That's what I didn't like either. I didn't like the whole pay to play because PSN was free for the longest.
It was Freezilla.
Yeah. And I guess it's still free in a way, right? But they've got like a gold membership now too.
Not with the PS4. You can't play online. Like I bought Destiny and I was like, great, I can play with everybody. And then all of a sudden, no deal. Like all the people that added me to parties, I couldn't play with them. I didn't really want to, anyways. So.
You're bad people.
I'm not bad people. I don't really like playing with other people. That's all. I just like playing by myself. It's my escape. Not multiple people's escape.
This is my town here.
It's my house.
Yes. Well, you said the money thing, like having to pay to play the yearly subscription. The thing about it is, like I said, the majority of the people I knew were kids. They were high school kids. Yeah. Dollars to donuts. Mom and dad are fronting the bill on that, and they're not having to worry about it. Whereas you and me, that $60, we could throw it some other direction and actually, do something fun with it. Why not play on the PlayStation? And I prefer playing, the things I've loved to play multiplayer are normally, frankly, fighting games. And in my opinion, the PS3 controller is perfect for fighting games. The 360 controller actually hurts my hand to try to play a fighting game on it. So, yeah, exactly.
Chris, me and you talked about this though. The cool thing about especially the Xbox One, but the Xbox 360 controller was it's actually a little bit nicer to play like first-person shooters on the 360 and Xbox One controller.
Yeah, because the staggered analog sticks, I guess.
Yeah,
and the triggers feel like natural or more natural feeling, and you don't have to put your hand.
Yeah, I love the DualShock 6-axis, whatever you say, but at the same time, like when it's a game that you've got to use the control stick for, sometimes I find it awkward on the PS3 compared to other controllers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I guess it's kind of hard to pick a clear winner with that generation. I guess in some ways, to me, it's the PS3 from a personal standpoint. PS3 all the way. So.
You guys ever try to play a first-person shooter with the Wiimote?
No, actually, but I've heard it's fun.
I have.
Well, I guess you're Laura Croft and shit. And pew pew pew.
No, honestly, try Metroid Prime on the Wii. The Metroid Prime on the Wii is actually even better than Metroid on the Metroid Prime on the GameCube, in my opinion.
If it's like Super Mario Galaxy, I really have to get used to it because I don't like to aim and move at the same time. But I get it. You just got to get used to it. You know what I mean? Just.
All you fellas just don't like moving.
Yeah.
Seriously, give me a controller. Put my ass in front of the TV and just let me play. I don't want to get up, put on a suit, and do some real stuff. It's too much. I want to be a sloth. That's my power. My power animal is the sloth. Or a jellyfish. Sorry. All right, so PS3.
Yeah.
Are we agreed on that?
Yeah.
All right, so next question is from Dom. Dahmer's Cool Stuff. Check his link in the description below.
He's got a second channel now doing magic cards.
Yeah, he's a card guru now, so that's pretty cool.
I just thought it was magic when I first saw it, and I was like, oh, cool, Dom's doing magic tricks.
That'd be awesome. Dom, you should do magic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
So his question is, where do we see the gaming community heading? Where's it going, Chris?
I don't know. Look, I got theories. I got lots of theories.
What's your game theory?
If we're talking about YouTube, the YouTube gaming community is in like YouTube channels relating to gaming. I said it earlier, and Mike thinks I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. He thinks that I'm crazy, but I think a lot of the smaller channels are just going to end up dropping off and quitting. I really do.
I don't disagree with you, Chris, but my problem with your theory is that your base example, your representative sample, is based on people who are very fickle anyways.
Good point. That's a valid observation.
They're fair weather YouTubers anyways, so I mean...
Yeah.
They're not content creators. Not everyone's going to open a Patreon. It's different, and the gaming community is way different than it was before, because before there's still little pockets of people that like to do content just to do content for fun, but there's other things, or majority of the people that are into it or have seen the larger YouTubers, they want to start a Patreon. They actually put out great content and they want to do more with it. But there's like the middle crowd they don't know either way. So it depends on what stage you are in the YouTube community for gaming, depending on where you're going to go. So I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, but I do see things shifting in a different way.
Yeah. It's a pretty saturated genre of video. You know, there's a lot of gaming. So I mean, it's hard to stick out. So in terms of that, I think there will be smaller people that get discouraged and walk away. There are going to be people that kind of like right there, like you said, Stu, that are like in the middle that are just going to kind of have to feel it out. And there's the bigger guys that are going to they're going to change things up and going to. I don't have a problem with the Patreon. We've discussed this and beat this dead horse to death.
I'm starting a Patreon.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, you doing that, and I've said go for it. My issue with that is always how people ask. But if you take that money and you turn it into something really cool, then go for it. If you take that money and you go buy peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, then go for it. Whatever, I don't care. But anyway, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I'm done talking.
I'm going to use it to buy penis enlargement tablets.
Yes.
You're going to need a lot of money.
Yeah. Penis sandwiches.
I'm not going to lunch with Stu, ever.
Tell them to teabag your coffee.
Anyways,
delicious.
Listen, I'm sorry for being so dismissive of your theory, Chris, because I believe you're right. There's
apologize to Chris.
No, but seriously, there's a lot of people who do this and kind of create an air that they're doing this because they just want to do pickup videos and show the stuff they got and be part of the community, and they want to be friends with everybody. But realistically, they don't really give a shit about that. What they want to do is they want to be famous. So they're only going to stick around so long. And, I mean, we've seen a lot of those people that were on YouTube when we started fell off very quickly. So now we're getting to the stage of the people that are doing this because, and I'm not saying that they didn't have good intentions too, but mainly it was because they wanted to get attention and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this now, us, for over 3 years. So, you know, there's people that have come up with us, and we're starting to see some of those people drop off now. And I don't know if it's because they feel that there's just no opportunity to get famous or get attention, or they just maybe just aren't into the hobby as much anymore, because realistically, game collecting as a hobby has started to die down too, realistically.
Yeah,
prices might be hot as hell, but, you know, they have come down a little bit.
Kid 171 just said that he still thinks that many people thinks they get into YouTube because they think they'll end up getting a lot of attention and famous. So
why would you want to be famous?
So you can make it rain and buy penis sandwiches.
So you can be famous, and every time you leave the house, you say, "Dear God, I hope somebody doesn't break into my house."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys, we were talking about it the other day, but you know, some of these bigger, this is pseudo related, but the bigger streamers on Twitch. It has become common practice for these people to get what's called swatted, and what that is people call the police on you and claim that it's like a hostage situation, and the SWAT team busts in your house and like
that's so stupid.
Guns a-blazing.
I don't know.
Is that what you want? You want to be that?
Yeah,
that's what I want, guys.
It's the whip.
But we're in an era right now, and I'm sorry for being so I guess, weird philosophical, but we're in a really big me era right now where people have access to Facebook, Twitter, and honestly, they can't put it down because they're so concerned about people reaching out to them that they'll do everything they can to get attention. And
Yeah.
there are people like that on YouTube. Let's be honest. There are people out there that, you know, they're doing it just because maybe they're lonely or maybe they're megalomaniacs that need gratification. I don't know. But there's people who do that, and maybe some of those people are dropping off now. That's what I'm saying.
Well, a big thing with the YouTube for starting was, you know, the whole networking, getting to know people like-minded with a hobby and all that stuff. And it's just that, you know, like everyone's doing it and everything got popular. Then it's a dick wagging contest and all that stuff. And, you know, people are just forgetting why they initially did it. And that's what sucks. It sucks that they see the passion as, you know, making money all the time.
Yeah.
But for making videos, it's just cool to see your friend like you, Weekend Game Guy, Mike Stankmass when he makes videos. You need to make a video, Mike.
Yeah, man.
Tag your ass. God damn it. Yeah, but it's cool when you see your friend make a video and see how, you know,
Yeah.
how appreciative of what they have and what kind of things they can share with you and stuff like that. That's what keeps me on YouTube at the moment, but I just don't like it when people tend to forget why they did it in the first place, and that I don't know. That just gets upsetting.
Well, I did it because my wife was going away to law school, and I needed something to do for a while. She's home soon, so see you later, YouTube.
Peace. But yeah, it's a lot of people doing it for the wrong reasons when they first start, because they think they're gonna be like super famous or they can make a lot of money, and then when they realize that they can't, they just drop off the planet. You know what I mean? So, you know.
I've told you guys this. I think it was on the podcast. Like, there is that idea that, like, oh wow, like I could get famous and maybe get an opportunity to go to a convention or something like that. And yeah, if you don't have that in your mind, I mean, you're crazy. There is always a chance, but at the same time, you got to be realistic and care about what you're doing, or else you are going to be one of those guys that just pop off right away when you don't get that immediate 1 million views on your first vlog video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think this is probably a good spot. We can jump ahead and kind of throw this in the mix here about the. Can we throw the Lurkers in here right now? Since it's kind of related. Yeah, well, because Kid Sure You Can just brought it up. He said, speaking of shitty YouTubers, lots of people fishing for subs recently. I noticed people spamming comments and whatnot, and that's exactly what we were talking about the other day. So we can jump right into that and throw that in because that's their goal, right? They want to be part of the community. They want to get famous, and they want, more than likely, I'm not going to like blatantly point my finger out there and accuse them, but you know.
So the next topic that we were going to bring about was how do you watch YouTube, and are you a lurker, which is the title of the podcast this week.
Yeah.
So how do you guys choose to watch YouTube, and where do you find the time, and what kind of YouTube watcher would you categorize yourself, I guess? Quote, unquote, unquote.
I honestly don't watch near as much as I did 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I watched a ton of YouTube. I watched pretty much anything that I could find. Like, the minute certain people had a video out, I was on it, and I watched it multiple times. But now I have to be a lot more selective, because and Chris knows what I'm talking about, and I know a lot of other people do too, when you start trying to make like a lot of videos, like you want to keep up with things, when you're making like a weekly video and you're putting a lot of editing time into it, like you just don't have that much time to work on YouTube. And when you spend 30 hours working on a video, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh man, I just put a ton of work into that. I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos now.
Yeah.
You kind of just want to relax and do other things.
Yeah.
So I don't watch as much, but I focus now on, I have friends I really like to watch, and I like to keep up with their stuff. If it's a long play video, I'll lurk on that and just make a random comment, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Chris never heard that, obviously.
No, sorry. I was reading. Sorry. What?
That's okay. But no, I generally.
He's like, I'm not listening to you, Mike. I'm reading.
No, I was reading what Gartner was saying. Sorry.
No, but like if my friend puts out a video, I'll watch it now. And there's some things that I like to watch that I find are creatively good. But usually those videos I'll watch on my PS3. Like I still watch like the Game Chasers. I'll watch them a lot, and I'll watch or GameSack, but I'll watch that on my PS3, and I don't usually comment because there's not that option there. But like most of my friends' videos, that's what I'll watch, and then I'm at the computer, so I'll give that a like and a comment. But I don't do the thing where I turn it on for 2 seconds and say, "Oh, nice haircut," and then just turn it off. Like I don't have any interest in doing that.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like if the only reason someone's gonna watch my stuff is because I commented on their video or I like their video or I'm keeping up with them, well, I'm not really interested. If you're looking for a best friend and that's the only reason you want to watch my videos, well, you know what? Message me over Facebook or something and be like normal. Don't try to make me attached to you because you're willing to watch my videos. That's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I get a chance to watch, I mean, it's Mike. You've got it like down because it's a matter of time. Because if you're making videos and editing videos, that takes up a huge amount of time. If you've got 3 million kids in your house, that takes up the rest of your time.
You're a genetic jackhammer, Chris.
That's what I do.
Nice.
So really, when I watch videos, frankly, is when I'm doing the dishes. I put my phone in the cabinet while I'm doing the dishes, and I watch videos. Like yesterday, I was watching Stu's Famicom video, and while I was doing the dishes. So yeah, that's when I watch. And if it's normally when I comment, it's normally on my friends' videos. Really, that's the only time I comment. And a lot of times, it's not that I don't have intentions or good intentions. I don't comment because I just don't think about it. And I'm watching videos while I'm washing dishes. My hands are wet.
I kind of do the same thing. Is that you try to watch videos in between time of doing stuff. Like you're doing dishes, and usually I watch videos when I'm driving.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You're like the most dangerous man in the world.
What are you talking about? I just watch videos when I'm driving. It's easiest.
That's the
Like
best.
no. In my car, my cup holder has like a top layer. I just lay my phone there and just push play. So it works out. And then
Watch the road.
Watch this. Watch this. I'm still here. I'm live. I'm live. All right. But when I watch the videos, I tend to comment after I watch the video because it's easier to comment on a PC versus driving in your car watching on your phone.
Right.
So.
If something does move me on a video I watch on my PS3, I'll actually, after I finish watching the video, I'll pick up my phone, go to the history, find the video I just watched, and then I'll comment. But usually I just watch, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm guilty of doing that. But, I will be on the first one to admit it. Way back when I first started, I was the guy. I have done it. I'm guilty of doing it, of going on a channel, watching about 3 seconds worth of a video, and leaving a quick comment. Normally you can spot the lurker by either they'll comment something that's completely unrelated to the video,
Yeah.
or they'll mention something that would be related, but like you talked about that in the video, and they were like, "Well, what do you think of Sonic the Hedgehog 2?" Well, I talked about that at the very end. You didn't catch that, or it's my least favorite or favorite, funniest one, whatever you want to call it, is a nice video.
Thanks.
Go sub my channel, please.
Yeah.
Sub
Change. Yeah, sub for sub, bro. I'll watch your video, like my video, or I'll give you Nintendo points for a sub.
Yeah. God. Yeah. That sucks. But yeah, those are.
But you want to know something though? There are people that did do that, like that got on YouTube and did the massive like friend requests, sub to everybody's channel and asked for it, and they became very successful.
Yeah.
Well, as much as YouTube success is, again, like I said, public access television. Enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who are we?
It's collecting YouTube personalities as a sub channel, So I don't know. Collect them all.
Yeah.
See who
Gotta get them all.
YouTubers.
Yeah, they're out there.
Scrotum, test tackle. You guys hear that before?
No.
No.
The Pokemon is called Scrotum, and his attack is Test Tackle.
Oh wow.
Scrotum, Test Tackle. Sorry.
There was people that. I feel like there's more of that going on today because I feel like most of the people getting into YouTube, it's very rare to find somebody who's actually doing it for the reason of just I want to talk about video games. A lot of people are going on there trying to become celebrities, and we've moved into that content creator era. We're no longer YouTubers. I'm a YouTuber. I'll continue to call myself that, but we really are in a new era now. It's content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And there are more people that are the lurkers, and they get on there and they get really offended because they'll comment on your video and you don't immediately go subscribe, and they're like, don't they know how awesome I am? And I'm like, I don't know you, dude. Like, we've talked once. Like, most of the people that I'm friends with on YouTube and I watch all the time, we talked over the span of maybe 5-6 months sometimes before you'd even subscribe to their channel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
what makes you want to subscribe to a channel if they're new? I guess if they're entertaining enough, but
Yeah,
there's also the entertaining people that have sucky channels too.
Yeah.
But there's just so many people out there. Really, there's just too many people out there.
You don't know. Sometimes you come across things like We're gonna say.
I was gonna say that's the problem. Is that there's so many channels out there. It's hard to come across. You know, you will find diamonds in the rough. You will find you just haven't heard about them. There's so many you just haven't stumbled across them. I mean, I've stumbled across some pretty great channels recently that I really enjoy. So.
Yeah, like and there's people I really enjoy, like the Banana. I think everybody's in love with that kid now. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But how do you guys feel when someone comments on your video and like I do the Game and Watches and someone will say, "Oh wow, you aren't so good at this, but I did a video that shows you how to do better. Go watch my video." How do you react when you get that stuff?
I put them on blast and do a comment and do a screen cap and send it to you guys.
That is what he does. So we know when you lurk on his video.
YouTube will know who comments because I'll post that on my Facebook, all right?
Yeah.
Put you on blast. So.
Yeah, but does it actually bother you? Not the lurking, just the lurking aspect, but when someone says, "Go check out my stuff," how do you feel about that?
If I have time, I check it out. But as for the criticism saying that they're better or not, you know, if they are, they are. If they aren't, they're not. I'm not gonna argue because you know whatever. I suck at Friday the 13th. You guys are obviously the best at it.
Oh yeah, I can beat it with my eyes closed now.
Yeah. I can beat it with a Game Genie. So I can also do it with my eyes closed. There's a code for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't get offended at anything really anymore. I stopped doing that. Well, you know, you guys kind of remember last year some. I don't know if you guys remember or not. I was getting some ribbing from different. Hello, out of focus.
Oh, when you did your vlog thing and people hated because you weren't wearing your sweater vest and all that content.
Yeah, and you know, certain people like spam me on Twitter trying to force me to wear sweaters and things like that. You know,
wear the clothes we want.
Yeah, just because they have a bigger channel than me and they do Game and Watch Wednesdays.
Yeah.
They're not the boss of me.
And they have a bunch of Nintendo games behind them.
Yeah, they're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
Put on a sweater.
So I did wear a sweater in a video recently.
I know.
I
watched
you
the video.
Gotcha.
I was actually just about to go on a date with my wife. That was why I was wearing the sweater. It wasn't for you at all, Mike. It was actually for her.
I'm brokenhearted.
Yep, you should be. But I did get a new cardigan. I'm not going to say anything else, but I did get a new cardigan.
Yeah.
It's
so, do you still keep on? Since Kit commented, are you still going to do coffee time?
Oh yeah. It's not off the table. It's one of those things I haven't had time recently to do it. That's just one of those things. I haven't been able to do it.
I think you've been very clear about this, Chris, but where is your interest at right now with making YouTube videos? Because we've talked about it before, and maybe that's not something you want to talk about publicly, but I just shamed you into doing it.
Yeah. Thanks for that on the spot. No, I want to keep doing it. I don't want to stop. I kind of want to just do what I want to do when I want to do it. and the way I want to do it. So if I want to throw up some tutorials of me doing some weird stuff on GIMP, then I'm going to do that. If I want to do a coffee time, I'm going to do a coffee time. If I want to do a let's play, I'm going to do a let's play. If I'm going to do reviews, I'm going to do reviews. I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it. There are things I'm going to have to do differently. I'm not going to be able to do things as scripted anymore. Oh, as scripted. I'm not going to be able to do dramatizations. I'm not going to be able to do Weekend Game Guy the way you guys know it. I'm not going to be able to do that anytime
All
soon.
I hear is no, 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 no. I ain't doing nothing.
I'll admit, I was very disappointed, Chris. Like, I'm going to be very honest. I'm a fan of your work. Like, your early Weekend Game Guy stuff, when I watched this, I was like, man, this guy's amazing. Like, when I watched your Dr. Mario review, like, I'll never forget, like, when all the viruses went in your mouth and you got sick, and I was like, man, this guy's amazing. Yeah. So, when you did your hiatus and you were coming back and you were like, so there's going to be some things changing.
Red faction.
No, there's going to be some things changing, and, like, you talked about what you were cutting out and what you were keeping. I was like, this guy's an idiot. He's cutting out the best stuff and keeping the worst.
Yeah.
But and you know what? That's my personal preference for your videos. That doesn't mean that that's how everybody feels. But I never took the time to actually respect what you wanted to do, because YouTube is supposed to be about you, and it's about what you want to do. So it really doesn't matter what I want. You know, that's it.
Doesn't. And that's kind of what I had to remind myself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they want. You know what I'm saying? I do things to entertain or whatever, to try to whatever I do, but I've got to do it. If I don't enjoy doing it anymore and it becomes a really big chore, then I can't do it. You know, because I just can't. I can't sacrifice my family to make a video of me wearing a sweater reviewing a game poorly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not fair to my family, and frankly, my family's going to come before everybody else.
What if you had 30,000 subs?
Family still's going to come first. I mean, I don't know. You guys sub me up, 30,000 subs. We'll see. I might just like leave everybody.
Patreon.
Making the paper. I don't know. I couldn't. I don't. Family always comes first. That's my heart saying that. But you throw the right amount of money at me, I can be bought. Okay. I've got a price. And that price is 30,000 subs. So.
Or a penis sandwich.
Yeah. I will be all sweater all the time. I will not do anything out of character. I will do this podcast as Weekend Game Guy if I hit 30,000 subscribers.
You hear that, folks? 30,000 subscribers, he will put on a sweater.
Well, I've already said it. When I hit 2,000 subs, my vow is to do another Weekend Game Guy episode. If and when I ever hit 2,000 subs, I will do one like that minute.
Yeah.
You know, over the top too. I've already got a plan, like how over the top I want to do it. But
are we ever going to see your Rocketeer video?
I don't think I'm going to do it as a Weekend Game Guy episode, but I definitely want to review that game. I think it's a really great game.
That bothers me so much, because that was so cool. Like, you built like the Rocketeer helmet and everything.
I still got it. It's sitting on my.
This episode's going to be amazing.
Man, that was like a year ago. That Rocketeer.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. Yeah. I've been carrying it around for 2 years.
You know what? That's a great gaming memory.
That is a great gaming memory.
Oh. Had to go there.
Well, okay, to switch to a positive note, besides sad people not doing videos that they should or not, we just want to share one gaming memory from the past that, you know, pretty much either got us into gaming or just something we could share. So, Mike.
What probably got me back into gaming, because roughly around when I was about 15, I had an N64, and, you know, the N64 wasn't super awesome. Like, there were a couple good games on it, but I kind of started faltering off on gaming for a while, and I actually did an episode of Video Game Nostalgia about this. I was over at my friend's place, and we were there drinking. There was a couple girls there, and anyways, this commercial comes on TV for Final Fantasy VII, and I'll never forget that commercial as long as I live. I was so captivated with the cutscenes and the way that commercial actually came up in the trailer that I was hooked. I had to actually go get this game, and the minute I started playing Final Fantasy VII again, I just fell in love with video games. I bought everything for the PlayStation, and I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't seen that commercial.
That's cool.
Well, that's one of the that made me actually just go buy one. I think I'm in the same boat. I think I told you about that, Mike. Final Fantasy 9, was it?
Was it 9?
Or did you say 7?
I said 7.
Yeah, I played 7, and when I fell out of it, I want to say that I bought 9 and a whole console all over again because of that, and that brought me back. And ever since then, I've been been pretty hardcore at it. I fell off for a couple of years. I fell off the boat for a couple of years, and I just had to get back.
Now I'm itchy.
I needed it back in my life. But one gaming memory is not necessarily a console. Is that I used to always go shopping at the grocery store, and I used to always pass by like a Neo Geo with Aero Fighters. And obviously I didn't have any money when I was a kid. I'd always ask my mom for a buck. But getting that dollar to turn into quarters was the hardest thing, because every time I took that dollar to that cashier, they would give me some messed up look like, What do you need the change for? I'm like, to play your arcades. That's what I need it for, So, right? I just need some. How else am I supposed to get quarters here?
What do you need the change for? I'm Magneto.
Or Spider-Man, And so I just really appreciated when arcades are around, and I really miss arcades.
Yeah.
To just go play, man. Just pew, 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 quarter at a time. How about you, Chris?
It's funny that you brought up the arcades, because I think that's some of the best memories I have were in in the mall or whatever. But we talked about it the other day, because you just got a copy of Goonies 1 in your Famicom a lot, right? And
Yeah.
at there's a pizza place here in town called Pizza Village, and it's probably the best pizza I've ever eaten in my life. I mean, it's so good. It's the best part about moving back to this town, so I could go back to that pizza place.
Little teardrop on there.
Yeah, a little, just single, just right down the side. But no, that was the first place I ever played a Neo Geo, Metal Slug, Samurai Showdown. It just about every great game, Baseball Stars, every great game on the Neo Geo was in that arcade cabinet at some point. And they also had a little. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the tent versus. Do you know what I'm talking about? The little sit-down cabinet.
Yeah.
The Nintendo versus. Yeah, it's a little. There's a game on each side. They had the versus Super Mario Brothers, which I love to play that version of Super Mario Brothers. It's hard as balls, but I've gotten pretty good at playing it one-handed, and that's weird, because why would anybody do that? But I don't know. It's something I decided to. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, this can be a little challenge, and so I do it with one hand.
Nice.
I got good at doing it with one hand for a long time there. But
Yeah.
anyway, so there's that, and on the other side they had Goonies, and that was and I was so weird, because I'd play that Goonies game at the pizza place, and then I would go to the video store to try to rent it, and I'd be like, well, where's this game? And it just wasn't there, because it didn't exist here. So, yeah, I think it was playing that pizza place and playing arcade games in that pizza place. To this day, when I go in there, like it's funny, because I still look back there to see if
you like turn slowly
there.
and hope. You turn slowly and hope to go back in time.
Yeah, and I know they're not there, but there's this part of me, like you said, I hope I get I hope in some time vortex and step into the past, but it's not there. They're never there. But there's that, and recently, I think something recently, you guys. You haven't experienced this yet, but you will. But my daughter, my oldest, she's 4 now, and which is crazy to me. But she's 4 now, and she loves to. On the PS3, I have the Wipeout HD collection that I got, and she loves to sit there and race me on those games. And she'll ask, "Daddy, I want to do the race." She's terrible. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Nice.
But she loves to just sit there and play with me, play the games with me. So I think that as she gets older, that's going to be a cool that experience, and that's going to get cooler, and that's going to get more, it's going to get cool. It's going to get a lot of fun, because they're growing and learning how to do stuff like that, and nerdy.
I don't have I don't have kids yet, but I think most of the people that are watching and the people that are on this podcast know that I have a cabin, and it's right next to my parents' cabin. So our whole family goes up there. It's like a compound, and I actually have a nest up in my cabin. And my niece and nephew come over like every single night, and all they want to do is play duck hunt, like
Yeah.
all night long. So basically, I have the Nintendo up there when it gets dark and you stop doing work for the day. Like I was thinking, oh, I'll sit down here and get to play some games. No, I never get to touch it because the kids are just all night
Yeah.
long.
Awesome. And that's cool, and I think that's cool to share from our generation
Yeah.
to their generation, and like the Nintendo is perfect because it's perfect for a kid that age because there's nothing too complicated to play. Like they might not have the best motor skills, and my kids ain't never going to be able. I mean, they're not going to be able to play Mario Brothers yet, but the controller is easy enough that they can actually kind of play at it, and it's. And it's fun for my son's
there's only 2 buttons,
Yeah.
There's not like 18.
That's the thing, and it's small enough that it fits in their little tiny hands. And
But here's the amazing thing: like they got into gaming now. Like they both have iPads, but they can't grasp Nintendo. Like they can sit there on the iPad and it's all like Fruit Ninja and stuff like that. But they can't in Mario. They can't grasp the concept of moving forward and jumping.
Yeah.
Well, there's a story of like my buddy's little nephew. Yeah, his nephew. I got him a Nintendo. He wanted to play the Mario that we were playing. I then handed him the controller, and he looked at me very serious. He's like, "This isn't wireless?" I was like, "Sorry, buddy, it's not wireless." He's like, "What is this? What is this line?"
Does that remind you of like Back to the Future 2, where Elijah Wood turns and goes, "You got to use your hands"? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, mind blown. But it's cool that the newer generations are going to experience the games and all that stuff, and hopefully that they have the same kind of memories that we do as of the arcades and whatever. But that's a long gone. Long gone. It's those times are done.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So, anything else, guys? Wrap it up? Last words? Any questions from you guys out there watching? Shoot them up.
Yep.
So, we got a few. No, we got Soft Otaku's in here now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Retro
Okay.
Robbie was in here.
Retro Robbie was here. They were talking about Top 3 Tuesday back in a couple lines ago and where that went. And there's a couple more community type video responses. There's a lot of tagging tubers going around, so that's a lot of the old YouTube stuff that's going around that should still continue to go around because that's obviously where people met and they got to interact a little bit more.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, that is a very good point. That pretty much video responses kind of killed that whole community aspect.
Yeah.
When video responses got eliminated, because that's what a lot of people did.
No.
Gartner's got us one. You want to know what our favorite arcade game of all time is?
Oh, that's so hard. Can I do a top 3 Tuesday?
You can't bring it back. Paste it to the Nerd Masters fan
That's what we
page.
should do. We should all do top 3 Tuesday response and post it.
Top 3 Thursday. My favorite arcade cabinet is really tough. Realistically, it's WrestleFest, but I mean, like, WrestleFest where you play that Royal Rumble, but G.I. Joe and Turtles are right there.
What arcade game would I go back to play, or what would I gravitate towards if all the arcade games were there? That's a tough one. But I'd have to go with Mike. I'd have to gravitate towards the Final Fight. There's just something about Final Fight that I always wanted to beat. But obviously you never have enough quarters to do it. I'd always make it to like Saddam in the rink or the ring, and then I just die there.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been past that. I do have it now on a multi-cart. I might try
Huh?
Chris, you go ahead, and then I gotta.
Mortal Kombat 2. That's it. Mortal Kombat 2. It's the arcade version, especially. It's so good, and I finally beat it in the arcade at MagFest a couple years ago because
Was that when that guy was watching you?
Yeah, weirdo. He was just kind of standing there, and I was like, what? But yeah, that was a cool experience. If I had actually kept track of the change, I mean, I probably would have spent in a real world $1,000 or something to beat that. It was really tough.
This was a top 3 Tuesday question. Do you guys remember that? Top 3 arcade cabinets?
I can't remember.
I think, I don't know if he makes videos anymore, but I think it was like RPG Machine 86 on top 3 Tuesday that week.
I thought that was like Cab Art.
Maybe it was Cab Art, yeah.
It might have been.
What was it, Ed? You're in the comments. What was that top 3 Tuesday with the arcades? That's if you can remember with your old age.
Top Tuesday. I think it was top 3 arcade cabinets, and it wasn't the games, but it was the cabinets themselves.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Arcade cabinet artwork.
Uh-huh.
That's what's all coming up is the top 3 Tuesday arcade cabinet artwork.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if that's the only one there is, but...
It was really disappointing when Top 3 Tuesday came back, but, I mean, it's just so hard to do now without the video responses because you got to go post it to Facebook on Ed's page, and not Ed's personal page because it was on his EdT1138 page.
His page.
But you understand what I mean because, like, obviously, not that there's not a ton of traffic going there, but it's so much harder to bring attention, and Ed did a lot to try to get people to watch everybody's videos. But, I mean, with YouTube, stuff just came up, and, like, you go back to the video, you see all the video responses. But with this, you're going to a separate thing. You got to bring up Ed's page and go in and check all the time. So it was harder to do. Like, I really wanted it to succeed, but... And I also know it's a lot of work on Ed's part. When he was doing Top 3 Tuesday, I mean, getting the videos from people and everything, it became a little overwhelming to produce that every week.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention everybody like trolling him and stuff like that whenever he didn't choose their topic or whatever.
That's the hard thing. People who get really upset about it and stuff like that.
Yeah. That goes to the I want to be in the spotlight kind of deal.
Yeah. More of the same.
For anyone watching that doesn't know what Top 3 Tuesday was, it was we were basically asked a question with I don't explain it, guys. I'm having a brain fart here.
Either Ed or a special guest would come up with a topic for the week where we would have to choose our top 3 insert whatever there, be it our top 3 platforming games, top 3 fighting games, top 3 arcade cabinet artwork, and we would then make video responses and post it to Ed's page.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, do you guys remember your guys' topics? Because we were all on it.
Yeah,
No,
top three video game music. That was mine.
How about you, Chris?
Chris wasn't.
Mine never got chosen, but later on, Ed was like, "Yeah, you should do that," but then it was too late. But it was Mine was the top 3 arcade games that never got a home port.
Oh, I remember that.
I made a video and everything, sent it to him, and he snubbed me. So that's why I thumbed down all of his videos.
So that's why.
I still do it. I'm holding a grudge. No, I'm kidding. It was one of. See, I didn't get him a. It was too late by the time I tried to throw my hat in that ring. It was too late.
That's when he went on his hiatus. So don't you hate hiatuses, Chris?
No. You guys don't understand. Ed, I forgive you. Don't worry. You guys don't understand. It was kind of refreshing to not do anything. It was great.
Yeah,
to just watch and to just do whatever I wanted to, and
yeah, it is refreshing. Like every now and then, it's not that I get burnt out. Like I get tired of making videos, and it's not that I don't. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I owe anybody anything. I mean, I do YouTube for a hobby, so after a while, I'll make like 15 videos in a row, and I'll make one that's really complicated, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that for a while. I'm gonna do other things.
Yeah.
And it's good, but like I get drawn back usually. Like I say, I'm going to take a month off. Like a week later, I'm like, well, I should probably make something because I enjoy it. I enjoy making videos, or else I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, same here. I think we all do it because we have some sort of enjoyment and interaction with it.
I know it's difficult to do, and I know it's one of those things that's not possible. But I wondered if someone was willing to do Top 3 Tuesday again. I know Ed said he would be willing to pass that banner on to somebody. How would you guys feel about somebody trying to do it again? I know the video responses make things difficult, but...
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I
Someone picked up that banner and said, I'm gonna try to carry that tradition on, or bring it back, or whatever.
to me, I don't ever consider myself to be any different than when I originally started doing this. So whenever I get tagged in something or whenever there's like a video response or something like that, I'll usually do it. And I'm pretty quick about doing it, and I'm sure most people know that.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I'd be as into it because I don't think the community aspect would be there. And you know what? This may sound horrible, but I'm also at a point where like I've met a lot of people, and it's not that I don't want to meet other people, but you know, I've got good friends, and I don't know if I want to make any more. That sounds horrible, but you understand what I mean.
I've reached my limit of friends here. You know, I'm good.
No, that makes sense. I mean,
Well, it's really it's just hard to keep up without being a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It is, and that's probably. Once again, we're kind of back to the fact that the community is so saturated, it's hard to keep up with. Heck, it's even hard to keep up with your friends' videos.
Mhm.
You know,
Exactly.
I've got my YouTube where, at least on my phone, where as soon as you guys, specifically you two, post videos, it instantly tells me. I get an alert, a YouTube alert on my phone that you guys do that. I got alerts for, I think, basically everybody that's in this chat right now. Actually, as soon as they post videos, I really do think it's everybody that's in there. But
Nice.
it instantly posts to my phone, so
I only have a Gartner alarm. It only goes off about once every 2 years.
That Gartner. Anyway. Well, I guess we can wrap it up here since we've been going about an hour or so.
yeah.
Yeah? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a good time.
Okay, so just want to say thanks for everyone that stopped by the live. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and took some information that you felt was useful with our speech about the gaming community and such. And remember to just do things because you like to, not because you're forced by Google to do it. And I'm just going to close out myself by saying check out the fan page, check out each of our channels, show us some support, and tell us who you are in the comments below or even in the fan page, and we'll be sure to check you out too. So I'll leave it to you, Mike and Chris.
Why'd you tell him that? Why'd you tell him that? No, you know what? Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. It really means a lot, and especially for checking each of us out. Again, this is a great thing we do. It's a great chance to talk to two of my friends here, and I love doing it. I look forward to it every second Thursday.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. And you know, the podcast. If I quit YouTube forever, I would want to do this. If I didn't do anything else, I would want to do this. This is almost more fun than making regular videos. So it's
No editing.
Yeah, no editing needed. Not anymore.
No scripting.
Now that we do it live now, it's great. So yeah. So thanks for watching. Yeah, absolutely check out the Facebook fan page. That's where we get a lot of topics and ideas for topics. So do that. So yeah, that's it. I'm done. So good night.
And good luck.
Good luck. Stay classy.
I didn't swear.